Infernal Shrines! Well, we are in the losers bracket final, everybody. We got the Raiders against Team Ash now as we're kicking things off here between the two teams. Best of 5 series at the RavenCourt. And this should be good. I'm expecting fireworks, honestly. The Raiders just lost in the winner bracket final. I mean, if not for that, they wouldn't be here. But they had some really cool matches even there, and I now want to see if Team Ash, with the aggression that they've shown throughout the playoffs, is able to match them or maybe even surpass them to make their way into the grand final and face off against Dino's team against the Exodia stack. So, first of all, we're getting Sylvanas banned out right away. Infernal Shrines kicks the series off. There's of course quite a bit of prize money on the line. The loser of this match will still get 3rd place in the tournament. We started into the playoffs with 4 teams. Now we are down to the final 3. And who's gonna advance to the grand final today? Lucio gets banned, Sylvanas is out. We have also good old Maiev. I mean, Maiev is pretty much perma-banned throughout the entire tournament so far. Nobody wants to go up against Maiev here. Very rarely does she make it through the first ban phase. I mean, now that I think about it, it might have actually been the case that she's literally been banned in every single game. It's kind of fun to me still to contrast the meta differences between what we're seeing here in Europe and what we saw in the Korea tournament that I just commentated. Playlist again on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet, if you want to see the Korean meta and also some of the former HGC players that participated in it. Even a Chinese team that participated there. So you get a bit of Chinese-Korea rivalry too. If you want to check that out, you can go to YouTube and check out the playlist. But there, Vala played such a massive role, and here in Europe she gets totally disregarded. I believe we had a single Vala. Did you have a Vala game? I think we only had a Vala ban. Maybe we had one time that Vala was played and one time that she was banned. Something along those lines. But all the other games, she's completely disregarded. Nobody cares. And then you look over at the Korean meta, and Vala is just insta-banned nearly every game. It's kind of nuts. Jojo and Chromie to kick things off for the team in red, for Team Ash. We got Nano and Hanzo. That's the pick that he was basically denied in the winner bracket final over and over again. He mainly was resorting to majors there. Now, to be fair, Chromie was just one of his big picks, is of course taken away from him too, so it's not like you can rely on that. Yeah, well, and then with the addition of that, Rhaegar is now in the mix, so we're getting Rhaegar as a choice for the heals. Varian gets banned. It's actually kind of amusing to me that Varian gets banned against the Raiders, because if anything, the Raiders have probably some Varian PTSD, since in the winner bracket final, Bad Benny obviously being on Team Exodia, he picked Varian quite a bit. So back to the roots for him here after his hiatus. He comes back, he picks a lot of Varian, and it's just like taunt, 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 taunt all day, every day. So I'm not sure if the Raiders would really go for a Varian pick immediately. But if they would, then yes, of course. With Blaze as a follow-up stun, they could do quite a lot here. The one thing that I'm missing a bit is Stukov. He kind of disappeared from the meta, and it was always fun to see these Stukov and Varian picks together. But teams have moved away from that, so it's not really a thing anymore. But it was very fun while it lasted. Double pick for the red team, and we get Brightwing and Dehaka. So, nice. Dehaka for a bit more AoE on the Shrine, for the global control, and of course the quick licks that they can get. If they are able to get all the CC on the target, and Chromie takes aim, that's a lot of burst damage that they have there. Limu, traditionally playing Genji Tracer, those are probably the 2 picks that he's most known for. I've seen him on Cassia too, but yeah, Genji Tracer is what I would expect from him, one of the 2. And we get Stitches, false stat. And Ultra with Kerrigan, alright. Skok on Stitches. Have to admit that I did not quite see the Stitches pick coming. Kerrigan, while a bit of a surprise, doesn't shock me, since obviously it's Ultralisk. That's a lot of stuns that they're running here now. And that immediately is going to affect what exactly Limu takes as their final pick here for map number 1 in the best of 5 series. So, what's it going to be? Genji, Tracer, something completely different for him. As we're heading into game number 1, we get Falstad. So, yes, they are going to go for Gust for a bit of disengage and more global control. Full macro lineup for them now. We're headed into game number 1, Infernal Shrines, the Raiders against Team Ash. Time to find out if Kerrigan can carry again, as the Raiders rely on Ultralisk with her for the added stuns. We got Skok on Stitches, Nano on Hanzo. Blaze with Sven. Yeah, jet propulsion obviously is something that you can always use whenever they get a Gorge, but even outside of that, get those stuns connected, and then Death Knight on the heels playing Rhaegar. On the side, the right side of the map, we get the red team, Team Ash with Renella on Brightwing, Morenas on the Haka. We get the usual aggression from them, at least so far throughout the playoffs, so I don't think they're gonna stop here. We have Miriale on Chromie for all that burst damage. Limu again deviating away a bit from some of his traditional picks that we oftentimes get, is playing False at this time, and we got Lopaka on Johanna. Now again, I talked about this yesterday already and earlier, but just in case, I've been quite a bit sick. Today is the second day of the playoffs here. I feel a little bit better, but in case at some point I'm pausing or you hear weird noises, that's because I'm either blowing my nose or yeah, something else is happening. So I'm going to try and soldier through all of that, but yeah, just in case. So a little bit of a side note. Either way, game number... Oh, yeah. This is actually starting to become a bit of a theme. Brightwing dying early in the game, and honestly I like it. Only a dead fruit fly is a good fly. Fruit fly. Slapped away. Brightwing gone. Lopaka getting attacked now too, and I think this is kill number 2 for the blue team. So they're picking up 2 kills, and they're stealing the camp away as a result. I like it. Aggression from the Raiders. And probably coming into this with a bit of anger after losing the winner bracket final. So at least here in the losers bracket final, they want to start with a bit of a bang. And so far, they definitely do. So they are able to pick up 2 kills. They steal the opponent's camp away. They very likely will now take all 3 camps at the bottom of the map. So off to a great start for them. And then the only question that essentially remains is, can they continue with that pattern and with the same momentum that they're currently trying to build up here? Now, so far things are looking good. They're getting the next camp pretty easily. Kerrigan is taking that. They have, of course, to defend up at the top, so that's the next one where they gotta be a little bit careful. Blaze is all alone against Brightwing, against the Haka, but the pressure that they're applying at the bot lane still solid for them. And if they can break, let's say, through the towers here, then of course even better. Well, 2 kills to 0 also results in them taking essentially a 1 level lead over the opponent's team. We're now looking at the first tower going down. Shrines, by the way, the first one is going to spawn up at the top lane. So that's where we're going to have Shrine number 1 and the first Punisher coming in. Stitches. Yeah, well, looking for couple of hits again. Okay, they have Jojo. A bit of body blocking is already helping. Johanna's in trouble. Well, so is Death Knight. Falset is flying in, and that's a dead Rhaegar. Nice. Limo with a really nice pick here. So this turned quickly. Jojo could have been in quite a pickle if they were able to get that kill in, but Rhaegar dropping low thanks to Chromie, and then all of a sudden Bird flying in and finishing the job. So finally a point on the board. On the kill board for Team Ash. Shrine gets activated. And that lead that we initially had for the blue team is essentially... I mean, it's still there. They're picking up more experience right here in the middle. But it's not as big anymore as you thought it was. So now the question, are they committing to the fight at the top? Do they go for level 7? Or are they just trying to get some structural damage in? Brightwing and False are at the bottom of the map, so now you're running a double global that you can of course use to essentially get yourself level 7 if you're on the red team and then make a play. But the initial Shrine minions go over to the blue team. But they're not fully committed here. They have Kerrigan still at the bottom of the map, and False that is in the middle, can easily fly top if needed. Right. I mean, so far it seems like the red team might just grab this. Nice hook though. Going for Renella here. Kerrigan and Falstad are now both moving towards the top. Falstad is a little bit faster, and Rhaegar is dead again. So is Blaze. They are getting a double kill here. So Blaze and Rhaegar both eliminated, off to a great start. Now they're getting Kerrigan too. What initially looked like it might become a problem for Team Ash is now turning into the usual aggression that we're getting from them. And Chromie with a triple kill. Stitches is the only survivor in this bloodbath. So yeah, that one got rough very quickly for them. I mean, well done. Rhaegar falling, and then from there on out it just spiraled out of control. Blaze was getting killed shortly after that, and then they lost essentially the rest of the team with the exception of Stitches. So 5 kills to 2, and of course Punisher It's not going to be claimed by the opponent's team as well. So here's an opportunity for Team Ash to pull farther ahead on this. And as I said before, Team Ash is in a damn good spot here. I mean, in a really good spot. Because they are now pushing through the top lane, half-level lead. They are ball set in the middle, they hark at the bottom, they're running two globals. So even on the macro side, they are set up for success. If they can continue with the typical Team Ash aggression while still moving that side lane, that works for them too, and they're already doing it. At the bottom of the map, they're coming in with all 3 globals and they're going for kills. So this is really annoying. If you're alone on the lane against anybody and then all of a sudden, you know, you have Falstad flying in, you have Brightwing coming together, you're 1 versus 3 instead of 1 versus 1. That allows them to steal a camp away. They're having level 10 abilities kicking in for them. There is pressure from the blue team at the top, but I want to see. I'm a little bit surprised that they're not aggressively pushing for these walls. Stealing the camps away is neat, but I expect them to be a bit more aggressive on this. 2 of the globals move to the top, so they're hoping to get a kill here, and well, they will get Nano. So he goes down, Hanzo eliminated, but now we have both of the teams with heroic abilities, and this is where at least Stitches is starting to become more dangerous. He's going to be a... Oh, yep, there's the hook. Gust is up. The stun... No! The stun misses! They still get the kill. But Blaze and Stitches did not coordinate that all that well. So the birdie dies. They get some free KFC, some free chicken. But that could have been Falstad escaping. Dehaka used the time that he had alone at the top lane to try and take that fort out. So it's now down to 50% of its HP. But yeah, it was actually pretty interesting to see that situation unfold, because once that the jet propulsion stun missed, I really thought with a bit of help, maybe Falstad is fine, but nah. 4 kills to 7, very even experience. And the triple global doing work at the top. Now, they gotta react to this. They gotta do something about that. They can't just simply let that slide. So Falstad is getting free damage in. The rotation is underway though, with Jojo in the middle and Chromie at the bottom. That's not gonna... Oh, yeah, goodbye. Yeah, nice. Gus was good. We can save him. Yeah, the hook cooldown isn't ready yet. Jojo has also rotated in from the mid lane, so worst case scenario, she would have had to use her Blessed Shield here to stop them and slow them down a bit. But with the essence being popped, that's already a bit of a win, I suppose. And the next shrine is spawning in the middle. So, yeah, mid lane shrine for them now. Lopaka is far in enemy territory. They want to get all of the globals in. They do, but Helping Hand is enough. Rhaegar with the Ancestral. I like the idea behind it. The idea behind it is pretty cool. They go for Kerrigan. Ultralisk dies and Brightwing gets away. That was pretty sweet. The idea behind that triple global and how they just used it is very, very good. I think they could smooth that out a little bit more if they start moving in even as she uses the Blessed Shield. But this is a triple global play where you can just use a lot of your cooldowns to get a quick kill against an isolated target. And this is going to be even better for them later on in the game. So if they make moves like that, as the game continues and the death timers increase, then they can get even more out of it. Kerrigan is already back, and with a lot of cooldowns used, I mean, they will be back for the fight. But imagine this happening at level 20, or level 16 even. For now, it's a big fight over the shrine. Blue team is a bit ahead on shrine minions, but I absolutely love the way that they executed that. And even with the save and the Ancestral use from Rhaegar, they were still able to claim it. Now they're moving away from the shrine, apparently not willing... Well, actually, are they willing to fight for it? They're starting to re-engage, but they're already way too far behind, if you ask me. 30 stacks to 14. This seems like a foregone conclusion on the Punisher, at least. There's also the quick gobble up from the Stitches. Goes Gorge. Alright, Iron Skin is out. They all stacked up, and there's the kill, and there's the double. 2 heroes eliminated, quickly killed. Now they come in with a Falstad Gust. Wow. Hanzo down, Stitch is about to die. Yes, they get the Punisher, but who gives a shit? They lose the entire team. 5-man team wipe. Everybody taken out in that encounter, and that is just way too much for them to handle. Again, they all clustered up around the target that went for the Gorge, and then the double kill initially started things off. Now we're having 13 to 4 kills. They're going for the top attack against the 4 to take this one out. The Punisher lost, but look alone at the lead and experience that they're now getting from them. Massive lead in experience for them. The Fort falls. They are about to lock in level 16 talents, and that was just big for them. Falls that top damage in the game. Limu is sitting at 26,000, even ahead of Chromie, who's at 25k. A couple of no-look hooks are currently being thrown out by Stitches. Hoping, of course, for, well, some lucky punch that would allow them to also make their way back into this. But it is a rough game now for the blue team. Now, they have come back already a few times, not only in this series, but also in the last, but it's a bit tricky. I mean, currently we have 13 to 4 kills. It was a big lead for them. We're going for the bottom camp, trying to grab this. Stitch is going to wait for another hook. Connects it, alright. And Iron Skin instantly used. Uses the Iron Skin, walks away. No Gorge in this case. With the level 16 talent, they of course also don't want to take a straight up fight. The Raiders will sit behind the wall as much as they can, but now with the gate destroyed, even if they get a Gorge off, falls that good gust, but the hooks don't connect either. So there's a lot of threat potential coming from the Raiders, specifically with Kerrigan, Hanzo's Arrow, another tool that they can use here. But we have Team Ash just dominating in team fights as usual. Nice, that was a really cool combo. Ultralist might still fall though, gets his own ult out on the other hand. Yeah, Bunker is now up as well. Gust used, isolation on Rega, and just before he gets wrecked, he is able to get out. But still, some scary moments for the Raiders. First on Kerrigan, then on Rega. Everybody just going into a pirate mode in this one, going arrrr, but nobody died. Level 16 now closing in for the Raiders on the other hand. Map still being controlled by the red team, and after they destroyed the fort at the top, they're hoping to do damage down at the bottom of the map too. So far we haven't seen too much here. But here comes level 16, that gives us Pulverize as usual. Yeah, now a chance to apply a bit more damage on this. Get the hook out. Ah! Missing. Alright. Bit unlucky for Skog here, honestly. The Haka at the top is already dealing with the camp very early here. If they have... I mean, they haven't taken their own camp. There's 2 catapults now moving in. I don't really think they can do too much here. But this is a really nice defense that they already have. We have now down at the bottom of the map, or in the middle, still a bit of a skirmish happening and everybody going for that little standoff. But the real action is going to happen at the shrine at the top. Good. Gobbles up the Haka. Alright. Yeah, jet propulsion, and oh my god, really? The stun connects and Murenas dies. Alright, that was a nice one. Already we have Falstad coming in, trying to take Hanzo down, which didn't quite work out, but damn, fireworks happening. Nice Gorge reaction from Stitches, but they're not out of the woods yet. There's the gust, they're pushing them away. A little bit afraid to engage too long into a fight where they're 1 hero down. It's a 4 versus 5, so they're disengaging. It also cost a bit of time on the blue team, so nobody has gone for the shrine yet, which means that the Haka could technically try and come back into the fight by tunneling all the way up towards the top. Really sweet move here from Skog. Quick reaction when he saw the Haka, so they get a kill behind it. Still a big lead in experience that will lead to level 20, of course, so that's another huge one. So, yeah, there's a move towards the next objective. Falstad controlling the bottom of the map. I still want to highlight again that they have 3 globals, so they can always try and control the side lanes and get value here. They're losing out on the objective, but they're getting a fort at the bottom of the map. They can now push even for the wall on the keep a little bit. And with the Haka back, they can even put 2 heroes onto that lane and then later get them back in order to defend against the Punisher at the top. So, there's that. Level 20 will be ready for them in order to defend. Falstad is getting away! Ah, and Stitches is unlucky. Skog knew that he was hiding in that bush, of course, so he was just hoping to connect the hook in time, but he was just a little bit too late here. Morena's defending in the mid lane. That gives them level 20. So now they have not only the piercing sands, we got Speedy Dragon. Instead of invisible friends, Dehaka, by the way, going down to the bottom. Isolation is being hit. Falsen's flying in. Brightwing is already coming. Blessed Shield. They're trying to get everybody ready. But Falsen is still not flying. I think he got interrupted by the Punisher. The Punisher jumped on him and interrupted him, I believe. So now they're still moving in with 5. They get Rhaegar. Rhaegar killed. Wind Tunnel to focus onto the next kill. And that is Blaze. So Blaze now gone to top side. Still absolutely alright here. Frozen Punisher. I'm not quite sure if Rhaegar got hit by a Frozen stack, if he got hit by a jump on the Punisher, but his fly, his initial fly was, I believe, interrupted. And now the attack at the bottom, 15 kills to 5, a 5 versus 3 situation and a level 20 advantage. Dehaka has moved into the middle in order to defend here, and everybody else is now starting to make their move at the bottom of the map. To go for the keep, to try and take this one out. Bit of poke, they got 14 seconds until Rhaegar is back. Big push at the top lane with catapults and also the camp here, as in the middle of the map we're having Morena slowly moving forward to try and take the next fort out. So they're not greeding for the keep, they're realizing they will likely not get it until the opponent is back, so instead they're making a move into the middle. And they're getting a kill! They go for Stitches, they take him out, and they get Hanzo! They are absolutely on the tear right now. They destroy the fort, they get another double kill, and that's bad news, of course, for the Raiders. They were already 3 versus 5, then they lose 2 heroes just as the other 2 come back. So now they're sitting in a situation where we have a keep destroyed, maybe even the core falling. Fantastic play here from the red team. They're as aggressive as usual. The rotations that they're pulling off with those 3 globals are looking really strong. Multiple times they're globaling with all 3 of them onto a lane to just get a numbers advantage and get quick kills here. The blue team desperately trying to defend the core, but the wind tunnel is already out. Another isolation play, this time against Kerrigan. She goes down in flames and the core will fall. Nicely done, well played. That's 18 kills, 2-5 and a victory in game number 1 for Team Ash as the Raiders lose on Infernal Shrines. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Garden of Terror, second map, and Team Ash has taken the lead in the losers bracket final. Pretty nice performance with the triple global that they just used. So absolutely stepping it up there, and on a macro level, and some really cool moves. For the Raiders, the whole idea with Stitches, Isolation, stun follow-ups did not really work, and Team Ash is just as aggressive as usual. At the beginning of the game, the 2 kills that we got quickly for the Raiders gave them a slight advantage. They were able to take all 3 camps at the bottom of the map. The mercenaries there. And it honestly looked like they would be the ones moving into the mid game as the favorite. But then Team Ash, in typical Team Ash fashion, just turning up for the team fights and starting to crush everybody. And I was pleasantly surprised by the macro game that they played. Having 3 globals, not something that we see from a lot of teams, and them committing to all 3 of them and then using them very well to create numbers advantages on lanes to quickly take a target out was actually pretty sweet. They successfully did it, I think, 2 or 3 times. So yeah, well done. Maiev gets banned as usual. This time we also have Sylvanas taken out. Garden of Terror obviously a big map. Question is still, where does Hogger land, for example, in priority for the teams. And the Raiders are already hesitating there for a second and are banning out Hogger as more or less expected. First pick, first ban to the Raiders. So map choice was actually made by Team Ash. They're the ones coming in and deciding that they want to play on Garden. With Hogger banned, what are they afraid of here? Sven has in previous series basically played first pick on Blaze whenever they had a chance. So unless banned out, I don't see a reason why this would be any different. Diablo gets banned, so Blaze as a first pick is definitely a high probability for them. Unless they're adjusting to the map a bit. But I believe in the winner bracket final we also had Garden of Terror, yep, and I think it was also a Blaze first pick that they went for there. So time will tell if they're making the same play. Actually letting us run down way long. Just to take Blaze after all. So really delaying that first pick for quite some time here. Team Ash, well, how are they starting things up again? You could still go for Dehaka, obviously. You could still go and get some globals here. Greymane becomes another favorite on this map very quickly because how well he deals with camps, so he's a good choice. We've seen in other contexts in the past, also seen Sonya, even though she has fallen off in the meta quite significantly. And now we get Falstad and Brightwing to kick things off. They're doing it again! Falstad, Brightwing, right from the get-go. I could at this point see Dehaka being banned by the Raiders. I'm not even sure if Team Ash wants to go for him, but there is an opportunity now to go for another triple global play. And it's just funny to me that Limo commits this early to Falstad. Rega and Genji, the choices on the side of the Raiders. So, yeah, again no Anduin, again no light bomb engage with Genji. But they're going for a bit more Overwatch right now. And for the red team, well, what are we getting here? That's the next ban. What are they getting rid of? What are they worried about? Specifically, of course, when we're talking about either the main tank or Ultralisk. They ban Varian again. When Blaze is on the map, they're just banning Varian. They're just saying like, yeah, we don't want to deal with this. The interesting part is obviously also that we have now a situation in which Blaze has just been picked over and over and over again for the Raiders. They're really going ham on this one. And prioritizing it non-stop. Now, they can still ban. Are they afraid of a triple global? Yes, no. Yes, they are. They banned Dehaka out. They're getting rid of Dehaka. We already have adjustments being made. I don't even know if Team Ash wanted to go for it. I personally don't even think so. If they really wanted Dehaka, if they said, like, we really need him, they wouldn't have gone Brightwing Falstad in the first rotation. They would have probably let Brightwing slide and waited for the 3-4 pick. But, yeah, they still have Falstad. They still have at least one global. What's their side laner, though? Go Urel, they do, and they pick Johanna together with it. Lopaka is, of course, another one that has now played the same hero a lot. Whenever he can, we see him on Johanna. It's one of the picks that they really want for him, and it resulted in the previous series that they played in the lower bracket, in Johanna eventually getting banned out. I mean, the Raiders must have seen those games, but they're not really valuing that as a potential ban highly enough to go through with it. So they just allow Lopaka to pick Johanna. If not, he deviated away into, let's say, Muradin before. We get a Nuburak and Hanzo, so the Shimada brothers once again united with Blaze and Anub at the front. Still need another damage dealer for Team Ash. Running Falstad is definitely not going to be enough in the long run for them. So they gotta decide what exactly that second choice is going to be. But Miriale has been playing a lot of mages for them. He's played Chromie before. Could technically do it again. So, Garden of Terror, second map. Team Ash is in the lead. Highly aggressive, as usual. And our final pick is Cassia. Well, let's go. Second map in the best of 5 series here. The losers bracket final. The chance for the Raiders to tie the score as we're heading into Garden of Terror. So, our second map in the series, we got Death Knight on Rega for the blue team. We get Ultralisk on Hanzo, so swapping things around a little bit. Nano is in this case now playing Genji. We have Sven on Blaze, Skok on Anubarak, and Nano is playing Genji. Over on the right side of the map, Renella for Team Ash currently in the lead with Brightwing. Lopaka again on Jojo. We've seen this a lot. We're going to see it a whole lot more unless they start banning her. Limo is playing Falstad again. We got Urel played by Morenas. And Miriale is going for Thunderstroke on level 1 for Cassia. So it's going to start and stack it up there for the team. Yeah, well, for the races. So, who's going to take it here? Blue team, obviously, they don't want to fall behind here. They want to do whatever they can in order to not run into big problems in all of this. But, yeah, time will tell what they can actually do. I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm just very curious to see if we're going to get a 2-0 lead for Team Ash, or if the blue team is now going to be able to make a play here, because they have been suffering a little bit the entire time. We've seen Team Ash just being hyper-aggressive. They tried to go through and get a couple of kills. Yeah, it hasn't really worked out for them. If they can't dominate the team fights in game number 2, then it's going to be very tough in the series. And they're just coming from a loss in the winner bracket final, so that might play a bit of a role. I would say that they are a bit tired already, but I think this is overstating things just slightly because it was only one best-of-5 series that they played so far today. So not really enough to say like, oh yeah, they're massively struggling here or anything. But right now we got Morenas and Limu. They're going to be rotating around. Limu himself, for example, just moving in down to the bottom of the map. We're having Lopaka, Miriale make the little move. Renella is now also in a position where they can time the camp a bit better. As Jojo is moving over and just double checking what's happening and when on the side of their opponents. So yeah, they're definitely timing their camp around this. And top side, we're getting the next Bruiser camp taken. There's early game brawls. It will benefit Cassia as well. She's of course in a position where she would like to participate in a couple of long and drawn out brawls here, just to make sure that she's getting stacks in on her level 1 so that she can scale into the late game properly. With level 4 we're getting the Hand of Freedom, which always makes me wonder if we have a Scottish Space Goat or an American one. So one of the two, I just can't decide which one. Your guess at this point is as good as mine. And, well, the Siege Giants are still, unfortunately for them, not behind the gate. So, just up at the front, they're going to help with the defense a little bit. But Jojo, as she moves in with the Condemn, is already taking quite a lot of damage. Top side, they're pushing too. So each team is now pushing. It's essentially the same play that both teams are making. They're trying to push with their own Bruiser camp, as the Siege Giants are being used as a defensive tool. So top lane, bot lane, same play essentially. Question is simply, who is going to be able to do more damage? Who's going to be the one that is able to get more value out of that situation? And right now, my money is a little bit on the red team. They've done at the top decent amount already, so yeah, they were able to pull that off. As long as Urel gets out of there, and she does. And the counter pressure at the bot lane. I mean, there's obviously the global factor that we shouldn't ignore either. So with them using globals in these situations, they're at least able to do a bit of work, you know. So all the way up at the top. Next play is already being made for some towers. They had still one Siege Giant remaining that they tried to push in. But essentially, as the dust settles, it's more or less even. Kind of even experience. Not a massive lead or gain that we had now in regards to how much they were able to do with those Bruiser camps, with those Siege Giant camps. But just slowly starting to set things up for, I would say, the next seed. The first one was just without any contest taken by the blue team. Now the next one is spawning over to the red team side. The Raiders could let that go too. Don't really have to fight for it, obviously, in that situation. But I'm still a bit curious to see who's going to take the first blood. And up at the top, it could actually be... Oh, nice move from Urel. Slow him down, and Sven goes down. Urel coming in there, helping out with that kill, was absolutely crucial to facilitate it. So first blood for Team Ash, and the aggression is now being used to attack right away the top side fort. Now Falstad has to be careful, but with Brightwing being around, it's not going to be a big problem to keep him topped up. And since Urel is now turning this into a very fast 3 versus 1, they are getting extra damage in. That also means that Genji needs to be careful that he not all of a sudden becomes the target over here. So yeah. And this fort is taking more and more damage. Rhaegar is going to try and help out, but we already hit Morenas, setting this up at the flank. So the heal is definitely needed for Genji. He needs healing as usual. And this is not too bad for the red team. I think it's a good start. Decent stacks also for Cassia. Nothing insane, but given how big the map is and how easy it is to dodge a few fights here, she is still getting some solid hits in, which is going to help them for the late game, of course, significantly. So as things stand, there's a tiny lead experience maybe for the blue team. Should be negated once they're picking up another minion wave, but theoretically at least you can use that in order to get yourselves in a good spot around level 10 abilities. But the seed comes up, and this is where we're gonna have to... Well, the blue team has to make a decision whether or not they want to fight for it, whether they are just absolutely okay letting this one slide, because yeah, first one's given up, this one is also in a bit of a tricky spot for them. But they already invade some of the territory, at least on the other team. They came in and took the Siege Giants away, which was quite nice. That allowed Falstad to push the top further and try and get that fort destroyed. But with Genji moving in, we have Brightwing helping the birdie out. And Limo is low, Rhaegar wants a bite, and that's a dead bird. Yep, that's a kill. Well done. Falstad gone. Both teams on level 10, and once again we get the falling sword. Problem for them is Johanna dies, and the blue team now all of a sudden in the driver's seat. Not only because they took the 2 kills, but also because of when they did. They are able to pick up that seed. That's 2 seeds to 0, and puts them firmly into the driver's seat in this game. They're the team that is taking the initiative at this point. And yep, that should really help them around the next 1 or 2 seeds. They can decide whether they want to play for them, whether they want to just let them slide. So no matter how they play this, this should be pretty alright. 28 stacks for Cassia. You can double check also on the damage real quickly. She's on 10,000, still behind Hanzo and also Johanna in this case. But I suppose this is going to change as the game continues. But red team with a camp at the top. A little bit in trouble. Nothing crazy, not too much. But they need to worry about the seeds now a whole lot more than their opponents. And that could become a problem fairly quickly. Now, then again, if you're actually letting the first one slide, if you get a very early objective, it's not necessarily all that powerful on this map. Specifically if you push the lanes out. Right wing now moving in at the bottom of the map. Falstad is flying in very likely as well. Nice! Great Ancestral to keep Hanzo in play. Falstad moved in, so they're down at the bottom of the map with essentially the entire team. And thanks to the push that they set up at the top lane, Sven can't simply move away from here, or they're going to lose the fort. So that will give them a numbers advantage at the bottom of the map for a little bit longer. And they're already using it right here. But the seed has been claimed. Good move from Team Ash. So, Jojo maybe? No, Asia's skin cooldown is trying to turn it actually. Gust is being used. They're going for Rhaegar. Here comes the falling sword. Blaze still at the top. Blaze is getting value with the Siege Giant camp, and they lose the fight too, aren't they? Jojo is insanely low and falls, but so does Rhaegar. So the fight is actually all of a sudden all over the place, but it is a number. Again, it's a 5 versus 4. It's a 5 versus 4, and at the end of the day, let's face it, the red team just lost it. They traded kills with an opponent that had still Blaze on the side lane, who did now damage in the middle, took a tower down, is going for the gate, set up some Siege Giants at the top, took the wall here too, so they can't be happy with this. They can be very happy if they get the kill here though. And they do! Genji gets destroyed. Genji gone, but yep, definitely a bit of a weird one here. Also, pretty big. We actually have in this case the quest completed on Johanna. So she was at least able to get subdue earlier. 3 kills to 3. This is going to help a lot, honestly. That slow is going to help them in every single team fight from here on out. Now, at the top, Limu is still pushing. Is doing the same thing they did previously, trying to destroy the fort, but they're also hoping to get an additional seed and force the 5th one to be fought over. The position is not great for them, but they were still able to go and grab it. So now it's 2 seeds to 2. The next objective will therefore spawn an objective. Well, Garden Terrors. The objective will spawn an objective. Oh yeah. 40 stacks for Cassia. Not amazing, not horrible. We have still moved down to the bottom of the map with Urel. The topside fort is still in play. They're diving hard on these 2, by the way. But everybody is now getting ready on the red team to come in and help out. Ancestral already getting used very early. Jojo, again, gets all the big slows out right now. But the corner play, they're trying to drop him as Blaze uses the bunker to escape and turns it around with the jet propulsion, or at least aims to do so. They're going for Skork, and Noob gets away. They're gusting things out to save Urel, even getting the poly in. And Genji X-strikes and dies. You hope to get the Urel kill and couldn't. Now with the jet propulsion, Falstad is also in trouble, and Ultralisk was aiming to get a quick kill in with Hanzo, but they're all falling back, and Johanna is still an absolute full walkover here. Slows down Rhaegar, and it nearly kills him. They're turning their attention to Sven once again in an attempt to drop Blaze. This is just all over the place right now, and Blaze will fall. They're going to lose him eventually. So that's 2 heroes that the blue team sacrifices in that fight. Seed is now spawning at the bottom of the map, and very likely this is going to result in, in the first objective for the team in red. Team Ash is going to grab this one. They're going to take it. We have 25,000 damage for Cassia at this point in time. We're looking at Garden Terrors for them. 35,000, by the way, for Hanzo. 5 kills to 3. They did well in the last battle. Also, the extra slows that we're getting from Johanna, very, very helpful for them. But now the question is, right away, what can they actually do with this? They have a level 16 talent advantage over their opponents. It's not a big window, but it's there. They can use it here to try and put themselves a little bit farther ahead. Already the play in the middle to break through that wall. The topside fort obviously is gone by now, but they are hoping to get a bit more out of this. I mean, at least another fort is what they're aiming for, specifically, of course, with siege giants now also in the middle of the map. And that level 16 talent advantage, and they're getting it. So the fort in the middle falls. Sorry, at the bottom. Fort at the bottom. Wrong lane. Fort at the bottom falls. The fort in the middle. Yeah, they're not going to go and do too much here. They might be able to take the wall out now that they're rotating over. But let's not forget that we have level 16 talents by now on both sides. Bot lane still has to be dealt with, and that's where we're currently getting Blaze. But here in the middle, they're actually doing a bit more than I thought they would. Yep, they're able to get some decent damage in on this one. Not quite able to take it out, but it is down close. Quest gets completed on the Nubarak side, so he's now done with his Regeneration Master. Once again, Jojo's coming in. Miriada's trying to follow up. 53 stacks by now on Cassia. Yep. Falls that again. Toon is already out, but Nubarak might be... Yeah, well, he's not in any trouble. He is dead. And Nubarak gets absolutely crushed. No chance for him. Anub is down. Sven is also in trouble. Great arrow from Hanzo, but it's not enough. The counter kill, it's not even happening. Nano was trying to get it with the shurikens and just couldn't. So they lose again to Heroes, and they got so close to killing somebody, but they just can't. And now Rega with the self-ancestral hitting a bit too late. He's gone first. They're trying to follow it up with another kill on Genji, and very likely going to be able to take Nano out too. Here it comes, the kill against Genji. He's gone. That's another 4 eliminated, and it's disastrous, honestly, for the blue team. They're really in the pickle here. They're losing all of their outer structures. All of the forts are now gone. 9 kills to 3. What looked like a great start into game number 2 is now once again turning. Very reminiscent of what we've seen on the first map. They start off strong, and then they just fall apart as the red team is showing all of their team prowess that they just simply have. They've been now taking out all of the structures. They're pushing at the top. I like the way that they're playing it out with the globals as well. Really good macro game, which is not something that is all that typical for Team Ash. It's not something that they're known for, but they're playing extremely well now around their globals. They did it in game number 1, they're doing it in game number 2. And they are usually known for their aggression, for their team fights, and they're showing both of it. But now they also are starting to use a few more tools, and you can really tell that this makes things insanely difficult and awkward for their opponents. So big kudos to Team Ash. Now the Raiders could of course still bring this back, but in order to do so, they need to bridge 1.5 levels. They have still 2 seeds. That's their ticket back. You get another seed, you are grabbing yourself a set of Garden Terrors that might just allow you to get structural damage done. So this could be really what puts them into a position where they can take some forts out, where they can start a comeback, but they gotta get to that point. So far they're just not there. Again they lose Nubarak. Nubarak is instantly dead, has no chance there. Level 20 talents are now available, and that means that we have cooldown reduction for Jojo, so things get even worse for them. Once you have cooldown reduction on your falling sword, it's an absolute disaster. So huge plays potentially now from the red team as they're going for a keep at the top. They're going for kills. Nice arrow from Hanzo. This could be big. Hanzo's arrow was good, but apparently not good enough. They can't follow it up with damage to get a kill. Still attempting to defend here against an opponent that runs a storm talent over them. And it forces them back. They are retreating, but they can pick up another seed in a couple of seconds, break through the wall in the middle, take a few camps, and they have more than a 1 level lead. They have such a big window of opportunity here. It's gonna be a long time until we have 20 versus 20 fights, for sure. So yeah, this is looking absolutely stellar for Team Ash. Damage output, we got 50,000 for Cassia. She's still trailing Hanzo, but it doesn't matter. They got 7 additional kills, 7 kills ahead here. So they're going to feel great about this. Renella gets the channel. That is the 2nd seed for them, the 5th in total. And the next one will now once more decide who grabs the objective. So here comes the play. Wind tunnel into the corner. They get the kill, they get the double. Rega and Anuburak are both gone, both denied, and this is probably the beginning of the end. So right here, look at the angle. He finds the perfect angle for this one, comes in, takes him out, and then Jojo jumps into. Now Hanzo dies. Genji, the next Shimada, has also fallen. They're annihilating the entire family here. And yeah, that is crazy. Alright, good stuff. So they're going for core. They want the 2-0 lead. And at this point, I don't think that there's anybody that can stop them. It's certainly not going to be Blaze. He might hope that he can, but nope. Sven is barely able to survive as he rushes away here. But it's, yeah, Team Ash is looking great. They're looking absolutely fantastic. You gotta give it to them. They are playing such a fantastic series. Phenomenal team fights from them, and that's a victory. That's a 2-0 lead in the best of 5. GG. Well played. Match point! Team Ash 2-0 against the Raiders. I gotta admit, I'm a little bit surprised of how well Team Ash is doing. Now, did I expect them to lose the series? Not necessarily. I thought we would have a very contested best of 5. What I didn't expect is that Team Ash would play this well and dominate the mid and late game this hard. Not only talking about the last map, but map number 1, map number 2, I mean, in both of them, they did exceptionally well. So now Brightwing gets banned. So right from the start, we're having the Raiders looking at what happened. They said, okay, these global shenanigans that we're getting with Brightwing jumping in, Falstad following, we need to shut that down. We need to force them into a very different playstyle now. And that's what they're trying to do here. So I can actually appreciate that. They're reacting to what's been happening. Curious to see if they're banning more globals out. But I like how Team Ash has been evolving here. And they've been doing extremely well in the last 2 games. Vikings get banned. We are on Towers of Doom. Sven has already showcased in the winner bracket, for example, that he loves to play or likes to play Vikings here. And they're not allowing him to pick them early, so they're banning this out right away. And there's the Jojo ban. Told you in the last draft exactly about that. Not so sure if that is great for this map though, because here the 2 heroes that Lopaka picked, if I'm not mistaken, when Jojo was eliminated was Stitches and Muradin. Both of them are great here. So yes, Jojo is his go-to. If he can take Johanna, he's going for it. But I think getting Stitches here or going into Muradin both works extremely well for the team. So I would be a bit careful, especially if we still have that priority on Falstad. If Team Ash wants to play Falstad on a map like Towers of Doom, which you can, then comboing that off with Stitches gives you more isolation plays. So then you could do that too. So I think there's a couple of things that would really work well for them, that they could combo off with things they also showed on the last 2 maps. But again, all of course speculation. We get Lucio this time as an early pick, so no Blaze first pick anymore for the Raiders. Might go into completely different later on. Dehaka, of course, very strong here. And here comes Diablo and Blaze. Okay, so the start for Team Ash, very different. And also interesting for me right now that we're actually getting Lopaka with Diablo. It's one of those picks where I thought, okay, he's not really going to play that. I really thought, okay, Stitches, Muradin, one of the 2, but he goes into Diablo looking for all of those stun combos that he can get. And the team on the left side reacting with the Haka. Okay, they get the global now. They got their global, they got Hanzo, played by Nano. Likely, could also swap it over to Ultralisk if they wanted to. But off we go. For the blue team, this is going to be really intense. They need to win this one. They need to find now an angle that they can use in order to take the opponent down. Stitches is getting banned, so they don't want to go up against any kind of hook shenanigans. Skog already picked Stitches before. So, yeah, that leaves us with the final ban for game number 3. And for the Raiders to move on to the grand final and not simply just take 3rd place in this tournament, they would have to win 3 in a row now. We can start this up, obviously, on Towers of Doom. The comeback map, not only, you know, the comeback in the game itself, but in the series. But, boah, winning 3 in a row against Team Ash, oof, it's gonna be tough. So, we got Chromie that gets quickly banned out. And now I want to see what Limo picks. I am very curious because normally again it's Genji or Tracer for him. Now he plays a lot of false that has to be Tracer, right? Malfurion as a pick, that is already hinting at a Tracer pick. If it was any other team with Malfurion, we'd say like, all right, let's see what exactly they're gonna do here. But yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, hey, you have Limo. I already talked a lot of, quite a few times now that he oftentimes picks either Genji or Tracer, so this is looking more and more like Tracer to me. They could deviate away from him. Let's say, for example, I don't know, Varian gets taken out. But they go for Garrosh, they have Sergeant Hammer. So Sergeant Hammer plus Hanzo for the damage. And, well, with that said and done, we're having our final pick. Tracer or not Tracer? That's the question right now. I don't understand why they're hesitating on this long. I expected an insta-pick here on the final one. But yeah, Towers of Doom, first match point for Team Ash. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We're rocking Li Ming as the final pick. Unexpected, but definitely welcome. And now we're heading straight into the 3rd map of the best of 5. Match point on the left. The team in blue. We got Nano on Hanzo. Death Knight on Lucio. Sven is playing the Haka. Skog is on Garrosh, and we get Ultralisk on Sergeant Hammer. Alright, bit of a moment of truth here for the teams, isn't it? Because, well, either 3rd place or another chance to make that comeback happen for the Raiders. Over on the right side, Team Ash is going to try and shut him down with Renella on Malfurion. We have Lopaka on Diablo. We get Morenas on Blaze, Limo on Sylvanas, and Miriale on Li Ming. So, for now, top side, that's where we're getting Limo trying to make a little play with Sylvanas to get one of those towers destroyed. Nobody's going for that 5 versus 5 in the middle of the map. The blue team is still sitting here with most of them, so they can react to the Sylvanas push, and they are moving in at the top. And the rotation is a little bit slow. Limo stays a tad too long if you ask me, but they're getting nice damage out, but I really think you overstayed. This is the problem: when you get too greedy, you die. I mean, what did he expect? I mean, come on, dude. You're up against Lucio on the other side. And they know what you're gonna do. It's a typical Sylvanas play. It's the typical opening with Sylvanas on any map that you just simply move in, you try and take a tower down. And what traditionally happens, unless you can slow the opponent down when they rotate with another hero, is that you just go for half of the tower and then you rotate over. And what they are doing instead is they just went for, I mean, basically the entire tower, and he just dies to it. That was so telegraphed, I don't really know what to say there. So, kinda weird. Now, there was an invade attempt from the blue team as they were trying to go for the camp, but that was shut down. But Sylvanas dying feels a little bit like a meme to me. I mean, honestly, what is this? Wood League? Come on. You know what's gonna happen. They got Lucy on the other side. Of course they're gonna rotate over. And they're gonna have someone that is gonna try and cut you off. I mean, duh. But yeah. Either way, bit of an experience lead right now. We got the camps moving through, so at the bottom of the map, damage done against the wall. The Haka and Blaze rotating between mid lane and top lane. Level 4 kicks in a bit sooner for the Raiders. Nothing crazy. And yeah, time will tell how much damage Skog can do with Garrosh here. If he can isolate a few targets, flip them over and get those connects, that would of course be nice. But we'll see. For now, we still have a little bit of poke happening. Ultralisk is also sitting tight there. Waits for his level 7, as you would expect. And Skog is trying to deliver. As long as he doesn't have level 7, essentially what he's waiting for is just for Garrosh to move in and flip somebody in range, so that he can play around that. few more moves are being made now down at the bottom of the map as the triple altar phase is kicking in. And this is where they will... I mean, again, you want to at least take one of the altars, right? Typically, the first one is just a 2-1 split. Very rarely do we get a team that is able to grab all 3 of them. Basically never happens these days, if you're honest about it. But for now, we're getting very quickly the altars up at the top. Blaze is already starting to move in here and getting another channel out. So, yeah, well, he was actually trying to steal it, but the Harkers as a low. Bottom of the map has already been channeled, and this is actually getting a bit dangerous. Now with the channel at the bottom happening, Blaze... Yeah, okay, it's not going to be interrupted. I don't think the Haka is going to tunnel over in time and then interrupt him, so they're just happy picking up 2 of the altars and making that. And there's the shots fired over on the other side. So, yeah, off we go. Sven is already sitting up at the top lane. Is... quickly taking... I mean, again, it's a lot of a more quiet early game than we're normally getting. I think specifically because of the situation with the 0-2 lead for the red team. We had that 1 kill against Sylvanas at the top. You can argue that that should have been avoided in the first place. In addition to that, you put Sergeant Hammer into the mix, which slows down things too. So Hover Siege mode is now in, and now they can start making a few plays here. We're getting, with level 7, also Calamity, so I guess now... with the next objective coming up, we're going to get a bit more aggression, but for now, they have been uncharacteristically tame. Let's put it like that. The camp not immediate... Well, Sylvanas is now pushing... Talking about uncharacteristically tame, they are doing way more damage here topside than I thought. The rotation is coming again, though. Sylvanas... This time, alright, this time he gets out. I was starting to get a little bit worried for Limu. I was like, dude, you gotta get out of this one. You can't just simply die every time that you're pushing for a structure. So he's able to get out of it, is able to escape here. Good for him. A few more hits are now happening as, yeah, well, Garrosh is trying to find a target again. But that top bell tower taking this much damage already is honestly worrying me a bit for the Raiders. I would not mind seeing a few more games. Seeing a few more maps here, I wouldn't mind that at all. But that bell tower at the top could be taken later. Camp is claimed. Now they try to go for a Garrosh kill. It's always the red team, sorry, the blue team right now that's trying to go for invades in a few moves. But look at Death Knight. He's low and he's dead. Lucio is gone, and that is going to be the end of the Haka. They get a double kill. 2 heroes down, and that is bad news, and quite a bit of it too. So yeah, on the camp, the attack first on focusing on Lucio, who nearly escaped. It was literally the final hit, as you can see, that took him out. And then the Haka falls a moment later. So now with the 2 kills, they get the early level 10. And boy, this could get bad. That's a double altar that they're going to grab for sure. I have no idea why the blue team is actually pushing in here. Guys, they got level 10. What are you doing? What are you doing? That is an invitation. That's a massive invitation. There's the APOC. Yeah. And they get a kill. What? What is happening here? How on earth are they winning this? They got the kill. Sylvanas and the Haka both missing. No level 10 abilities. They still were able to grab it. What? I mean, kudos to the Raiders, but that was slightly unexpected. When level 10 kicked in for Team Ash, I thought they might even get a bell tower here. Blaze, how the... What? He committed Sudoku. It just jumped in and died. Now they lose 3. What is happening in this game? What is going on? Can someone explain this to me? I mean, what happened here? Let's take another look at this. Look at the situation. Blaze is essentially dead. Arrow connects with him. He gets pushed away as the BFG comes in and then turns it around with the jet propulsion, or at least aims to, and dies immediately. They lose 3 heroes. They lose the altar. It's 32 against 28 points on the core now. And we're going for camps again. Huh? I don't know what's happening anymore. As they hit level 10, if you would have told me that this happens, I would have told you you're crazy. I would have called the guys with the white vests, for sure. But I really thought when they had level 10 and it's nearly a 1 level lead that they're just going to take the altar, they're going to push for the bell tower. They're not going to quite get it, but they're going to do damage on it. And instead the entire thing just got flipped on its head and negated. Bonkers. Just kind of crazy. But, well, I'm here for it. That means that we're having a much more even game now on Towers of Doom. And let's see how far they can go with it. Currently, Sergeant Hammer still down at the bottom of the map. Everybody, of course, still getting ready for the next few plays here, but with level 13 looming on the horizon for the Raiders, they will be in the driver's seat for once. Camps at the top, taken also by the blue team, so Team Ash can't push for the top bell tower control that easily. Oh, but Sergeant Hammer gets sniped at the bottom of the map. Diablo missing the connect with the Apocalypse, zoning him out a bit. Dibble's now in trouble, gets taunted, and goes down. Tranquility for Malfurion, good but not good enough. That's a few roots on the ground, so what started off well with Sergeant Hammer falling is again turned against Team Ash as they're losing to. This seems to be the name of the game here. Nice damage against Death Knight towards the end of that fight, but not enough to drop him. Now, the camp is still doing some damage at the top side bell tower. This thing is low, but we're talking again about a potential bell tower claim. Good root by oh, holy Ming! Yep, the setup from Malfurion, and then Li Ming with a quick kill against Lucio. So now they can still fight for it. Diablo is back, they are back with 5 on the map. They need to interrupt the channel from scope though, and they can! But Morenas is getting away. This is what kicked this off. Look at that kill. Down at the bottom, look at that root that comes out. That root against 2, and then Li Ming is just like, ooh, resets. Comes in and gets the big one. Kills Lucio, gets the reset, and now they're about to grab it. So 28 points on the core for both teams right here, right now. 26,000 damage for Li Ming. We have 34,000 for Hanzo. And well, with that now, we're having, of course, more camps being invaded. 14 against 14. 28 versus 28. Sergeant Hammer against Sylvanas. And with Sylvanas, you have, of course, still the opportunity to go for any kind of bell tower conversion once that you win a team fight, especially as the game progresses and we're entering the big late game. So here's the next move, and again it's Lucio that falls. Hanzo doesn't fall. Well, actually he does. Hanzo dies too. But it didn't look like they would be able to pull that kill off because Lopaka missed the stun on the Apocalypse. He went for the wombo combo and couldn't quite execute it. Now they're going for the bell tower conversion after they took 3 heroes out. So Hanzo, Lucio and Garrosh all die. They could technically, I suppose they could go for the top lane too and try and get another bell tower conversion over there. At the bottom they already have one. There's one opened up at the top, so they have a chance there. And with level 16 coming together, they could definitely get that. Sergeant Hammer makes it easier to recover a bell tower. And Dehaka, yeah, tries a lick, gets shut down here, so they can't quite grab him. Sven is able to walk away. Question that remains simply is, can they also hold on to that bell tower? And since Sylvanas has gone for the camp at the bottom of the map and not pushed with the team at the top, they can. Blaze will still take the pumpkin camp, but Sergeant Hammer is already defending down at the bottom of the map. So, yeah, hit after hit is coming in. Sergeant Hammer is trying to hold this. Miriale with Li Ming, really nice against Sergeant Hammer right now. So it's always a bit of a standoff battle. The two of them are fighting, but forcing Ultralis back here. So nicely done on that. Teamfight at the top on the other hand is turning on to Sven. Arrow connecting with 2. The drag misses, but they're still trying to interrupt here. They're trying to get another bell tower. And, well, that shot's fired with the pumpkin. Miriale gets the kill against Ultralis, and they got the bell tower at the top. Big lead potentially for them now. Interrupt against Diablo, but now they hold 6 bell towers against 2. And that channel is happening. That's 6 shots fired, and they're going to get another 6 over on the right side. So shots are in as long as nobody falls. Oh my god, they really want the... As long as Sergeant Hammer is gone, they want to go for the conversion. Oh, I don't think so. I think that's a little bit too much. I don't think they have what it takes to grab this quickly. And they're falling back already. Li Ming still on defense duty down at the bottom of the map. Another 6 shots are now fired, and that puts the blue team down to 13 points on the core. So they are suffering. They're really, really suffering here. Damage output, 34,000 for Li Ming, 47,000 for Hanzo. Third place, currently at least, goes to Sylvanas with 16k. They're trying to take those pumpkins again, but now it's a 5 versus 5. Bottom bell tower is also nearly taken. Again, the damage card set up, and Lucio's dead. Oh my god! They're all dying! Lucio, Garrosh, Dehaka, all of them get murdered. And now, this is disastrous. Team Ash is dominating the team fights to an extent that's absolutely ridiculous. Look at this encounter. They're all getting popped in that fight. All of them. Now the bell tower at the bottom of the map is going to get converted over. Sylvanas is already in the middle. The blue team is trying to salvage what's there to salvage by taking or retaking the one at the top. But even that's not guaranteed. Bunker up, baby. Nano goes down, but he still gets the hits against Diablo and against Hanzo. But they're converting the bell tower over at the mid lane and down at the bottom of the map as well. The barrage is not going to end it, though. They're reclaiming the top. But look at Hanzo here. If he doesn't get that last attack off, if he doesn't get that last hit, I think they're losing the game. Well, maybe not necessarily. Well, it's a triple auto phase. They would have lost the game. It's bad enough as it is with the 6 versus 2 setup, but they would have lost the game for sure here. Diablo obviously back at his soul stacks in. They got level 20 now on top of that. But boy, oh boy, what a game. And what a performance from Team Ash, not only in this game, but in the series. Sylvanas is now moving down to the bottom. They're going for Garrosh again. He's already low. They are trying to turn it on Diablo. That's not happening either. Miriale just crushing it on Liming. First 6 shots have been fired. Blue team is down into the single digits. Dehaka is dead. Garrosh is dead. So are the hopes and dreams of the Raiders to turn this around. They're going to take 3rd place in this tournament. This isn't salvageable anymore. They're down to 2 players. It's just way too much. Disaster. Team Ash crushing their opponents. Absolutely crushing them. And this is game. Shots fired. Down to 1 point on the core. They can go through with pumpkins, with a boss, with a channel at the top. Whatever they decide to do, it's going to be over. And that's a 3-0 victory. Dominant performance by Team Ash as they move on to the grand final of the RavenCourt playoffs. GG, well played.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.